Urgent evacuations are underway in Umlazi, where heavy rains triggered dangerous mudslides in H section. About 50 houses are at risk of collapsing as the saturated ground continues to shift beneath them. The Department of Human Settlements has begun moving more than 1,200 residents to safety, while provincial and national leaders are preparing to visit the area. For more on the story, we're now joined by KZN Transport and Human Settlement MEC spokesperson Ndabezinhle Sibiya. Appreciate your time this evening. Now, can you update us on the current situation and what's transpired and as far as movement of these 1,200 families is concerned?
No, thank you very much, Hugo. And you are correct. The MEC for Transport and Human Settlements in KwaZulu-Natal, Siboniso Duma, is currently in a meeting with the Minister of Human Settlements at national level, Thembisi Melane. They are reflecting on, the provincial plan in relation to the rollout of human settlements. But in particular, if you look at, Tubaletu Township, there is a human settlement that, is currently under construction. They are actually going to be doing monitoring there. They are also reflecting on the impact of the cut-off low pressure system here in eThekwini. Last week on Tuesday, Wednesday, the SA Weather Services, informed the people of KwaZulu-Natal and the entire country that we were to be hit by a cut-off low pressure system. And if you look at what has happened at H section, it's a very deadly combination, a cut-off low pressure system, together with the rising water table. It's a very deadly combination. You have in the area water that is resurfacing, causing the foundation to be unstable. That is why you have houses that are cracking, houses that are collapsing. You pointed out that about 50 houses, are collapsing. And the team that, was assigned by both the MEC Duma as well as the minister, on Saturday, they've been doing profiling of, the communities. We're talking about more than 1,200 to 300 families that, are in need of urgent accommodation. Today, the head of the department, MEC Siboniso, together with DTG from National Zama, they were in the area on the mandate of the MEC and the minister just to interact with communities as well as the councillor there, the councillor Mhlengi Shinga. We can indicate that, there are plans to relocate the families because, that area, it is clearly not habitable. We are obviously responding with a high sense of urgency to the challenges that are created by the climate change.
So beyond shelter, what other humanitarian needs are required? One would also imagine, Ndabezinhle, that in the process of relocating these families, other problems erupt, such as proximity to schools for the kids, for instance. How are you taking all of that into account?
Well, that is what the team is working on. We can also report that today, the National Home Bidders Registration Council, visited the area. They are going to be stationed in the area doing the profile, the integrated approach involving all spheres of government, the Department of Human Settlement, national, provincial, as well as the eThekwini municipality, under the leadership of Cyril Xaba, the mayor. The mayor has been in contact with the MEC, as well as the minister, the premier, discussing, the turnaround strategy so that we are able to, provide a package of service to the communities. The children that are in the area, they are affected psychologically. That is the devastating impact of, the climate change. A couple of weeks ago, the minister, together with, the MEC and the mayor, they were here in Durban. They visited Kwamakuta. People died as a result of prolonged rainfall during that visit. So once again, we are back to square one. The minister is coming back to assess, the rollout of human settlements. Linked to that, the MEC had a meeting with the traditional leadership here in eThekwini. Traditional leadership that is located in semi-urban areas. They've agreed to make land available, the land under Ingonyama Trust, to build decent houses for the victims of disasters. That is part of a comprehensive response to the challenges caused by climate change. The last one around the interaction with traditional leadership, the MEC has saluted His Majesty Isilo Samabanda, for always providing guidance on the issue of, the rollout of human settlement as well as the road infrastructure. The MEC presented a budget speech on Friday, both for Department of Transport and Department of Human Settlement. He prioritized, the whole issue of agility, that the departments, both departments, must be agile in terms of responding to the challenges caused by climate change.
Now, you raise the issue of relocating these families, and that land has been made available. But one of the challenges you've faced, Ndabezinhle, is that in the last 3 or 4 years, there have been numerous floods. Many families have been relocated. Have those families, prior to this number of 1,200 families, received accommodation or permanent housing? Was this an ongoing process?
Well, it is a moving goalpost. That is what MEC Duma has been saying all along. We are dealing here with the community that lived in H section since the late 80s. Nonku as well as Sibiya, who contacted the MEC on Saturday, they've lived in the area since 1990. Can you imagine? The first RDP house was built there in 2001. And you look at, the recurrence intervals of cut-off low pressure system. We are having cut-off low, hitting KwaZulu-Natal back to back, and the drainage system, is unable to cope. It gets overwhelmed as a result of, the cut-off low pressure system. Here you talk about a low pressure that gets separated from the main airflow. Then you have, rain that is concentrated in one place. There is no drainage system, as I indicated earlier on, in the world that is able to cope with the cut-off low pressure system. Now, if you look at P section, the MEC was there on Friday evening. You had here the cut-off low pressure system triggering the mudslide. So you have a cut-off low that will trigger a mudslide. You have another cut-off low that will trigger the rising of a water table. So those are the challenges that we are facing here in KwaZulu-Natal. It is unbelievable that in Nongoma we also had, the rising water table. Their houses collapsed. We had, the foundation that is now unstable. That is why even there, the Minister of Human Settlement, Ndabezinhle, together with the MEC, they have assigned a team to ensure that there's permanent houses that are provided to the families, because that area is very clear that is no longer going to be habitable.
So let's talk a little bit about some of these challenges that you're facing and the support that you're getting from various government departments. Have they been forthcoming? Because I'd imagine that it's not just about your department alone.
Well, we're quite happy. You remember that President Cyril Ramaphosa was in the country, was in the province towards the end of last year, interacting with the executive members of the executive council. He committed the national government towards, providing resources for the rollout of infrastructure. If you look at N2 as well as N3, we are having road networks that are under construction. When the MEC presented the budget speech on Friday, he presented about 13 billion, for the Department of Transport, indicating that more than 6 billion has been set aside to reseal some of the road infrastructure that has been damaged. You've got deep rural areas there. We've got roads that belongs to the province, to the national. We've got Sanral that is working with the province. We've got roads that belong to the district municipalities as well as local municipalities. We are working in conjunction in terms of the rollout of the road networks. Coming back to human settlements, there are challenges, and that is why the MEC said on Friday we've inherited challenges from the previous administrations. We've also inherited successes. So we are building on a solid foundation moving forward. The MEC as well as the minister tomorrow in Tubalethu, they are going to be accelerating the unblockages. They've unblocked the blockages when it comes to the construction of the Tubalethu township, because there are communities that are living in dilapidating houses. You go to Mbudwane in Alfred Duma local municipality, the MEC was there on Wednesday before the budget speech, again there, unblocking the blockages. We talk here about more than 300 billion that has been invested by the Department of Human Settlements in terms of the provision of infrastructure, which is the responsibility of the district as well as the local municipalities. But the MEC as well as the national minister, they've said the people cannot wait any longer for what belongs to them. So we are obviously happy that national government is working with us to turn around the situation. Indeed, we are inspiring hope for a better future.
Final thoughts before we let you go, and very quickly too, if you don't mind. There've obviously been a number of lessons that have been learnt over the last few years that climate change has impacted KZN. What sort of changes are you making or strategies are you implementing, particularly where structure is concerned? Because it is clear that the various buildings and bridges and structures in KZN do not have capacity to cope with this growing climate change.
Yeah, if you look at what we are doing in Umzimkhulu River Bridge, that bridge was constructed in 1956, 1957, 1958, using the old KZN construction system where, cylinders are actually sunk deep into the water, and then concrete is actually, filled into these cylinders. That system is no longer going to be used. But if you look at the bridges across the province of KwaZulu-Natal, they were constructed using the old KZN, construction system. But now we are using the cutting-edge technology now to construct the new bridges. You look at, the culvert drainage system that is now being, introduced. That is what the MEC has said. He has said, let us adapt. If you look at the human settlement, the budget speech that he presented on Friday, he spoke eloquently about using the cutting edge technology to construct the new houses using the building material that is able to withstand any type of pressure. But it is important to also indicate that with the traditional leaders coming on board, we are going to be in a position to move people that are living in river banks and low-lying areas to suitable land. If you look at Inkosi Mqoqi, you look at Inkosi Shozi, Inkosi Mkhize, Inkosi Makhanya, all the traditional leaders in semi-urban areas in eThekwini, they've been speaking with one voice, saying they want to work with the Department of Human Settlements, to construct decent houses for the families, to construct, road infrastructure, and to respond with a high sense of, urgency to the challenges, created by the climate change.
Ndabezinhle, appreciate your time. Our thoughts and prayers are with you during what is obviously a very difficult time. KZN Transport and Human Settlement MEC spokesperson Ndabezinhle Sibiya speaking to us around the 1,200 families that have to be relocated. And this is obviously on the verge of 50 houses that are at risk of collapsing in KZN.